Almost everything you own crossed an ocean to reach you. Your phone, your clothes, the car outside, the coffee in your cup. And on the way, nearly all of it passed through one of just a handful of narrow gaps in the map. Some of them are barely a mile or two wide. Block one of those gaps and the entire global economy starts to choke. About 80% of everything the world trades travels by sea. But a ship cannot sail just anywhere. Geography funnels the planet's cargo through a few pinch points, narrow straits, and man-made canals where the whole system squeezes into a single line. These are the choke points, and every major power on Earth is quietly fighting to control them. Start in Southeast Asia with the busiest of them all. The Strait of Malacca is a thin channel between Indonesia and Malaysia, in places less than 2 miles wide. Through it flows the lifeblood of Asia, around a quarter of all the oil traded by sea, and most of the goods feeding China, Japan, and South Korea. If Malacca ever closed, the factories of the world's second-largest economy would be cut off from their fuel. Beijing fears this so much it has a name for it, the Malacca Dilemma, and it shapes everything from its navy to its foreign policy. Now go to the Persian Gulf. The Strait of Hormuz is barely 20 miles across at its narrowest, and through that gap squeezes about a fifth of the world's oil and a fifth of its liquefied natural gas. One country, Iran, sits right along its edge. Every few years, when tensions rise, Iran hints that it could close Hormuz, and just the suggestion sends oil prices jumping around the planet. No single stretch of water has more power over what you pay at the pump. Head west and you reach the most famous shortcut on Earth. The Suez Canal is a man-made slot through Egypt that links Europe to Asia without the long sail around Africa. Roughly 30% of the world's container traffic passes through it. In 2021, a single ship called the Ever Given turned sideways and wedged itself across the canal. For 6 days, one stuck vessel froze billions of dollars of trade a day, while the entire world watched a lone excavator try to dig it free. Just south of Suez sits its doorway, the Bab-el-Mandeb, a narrow strait between Yemen and the Horn of Africa. Everything heading for the Suez route has to thread through it first, which is why, since late 2023, missiles and drones fired from the Yemeni coast have been enough to scatter the world's shipping. Hundreds of vessels abandoned the Red Sea entirely and rerouted all the way around southern Africa, adding thousands of miles and weeks to every trip, and pushing prices up everywhere. And on the far side of the world sits the strangest one of all. The Panama Canal is the only shortcut between the Atlantic and the Pacific, and it runs on rain. Ships are lifted over the land by locks filled with fresh water from nearby lakes. So when Panama hit its worst drought in decades, the canal simply ran low on water. Fewer ships could cross, a queue backed up at both ends, and a weather problem became a global shipping problem. Look at all 5 together and a pattern appears. These are not just shipping lanes, they are pressure points, places where the entire planet's trade narrows to a thread, and whoever controls the thread holds real power. That is why navies cluster around them. In tiny Djibouti, beside the Bab-el-Mandeb, the United States, China, France and Japan all keep military bases, crammed onto the same small coast, all watching the same narrow water. It is easy to assume the modern economy is frictionless. Order something today and it appears tomorrow. Endless shelves, endless choice, as if goods simply materialize out of nowhere. But that smooth, infinite feeling is an illusion. Underneath it, the most connected world in history is balanced on a handful of narrow gaps, some only a couple of miles across. And when one of them clogs, you feel it. Shipping costs spike, deliveries slow, and the price of everyday things quietly creeps up. A storm, A drought, a single ship turned the wrong way, or one well-aimed missile, and the whole system shudders. The world feels enormous and unbreakable. In truth, it runs through the eye of a few needles. And the countries that understand this are already fighting, quietly, to decide who holds them.